they want to see? They want to see Mayweather and Pacquiao.
He's going to fight me? Yes, yes.
One is a 3-time Fighter of the Year, a 10-time world champion, and the fighter of the decade for the 2000s, the pride of his native Philippines. The other is an 11-time world champion, undefeated at 47-0, boxing's best pound-for-pound fighter, and the highest-paid athlete in the world. Both are electric, crowd-pleasing fighters who have dominated the boxing scene for a generation, the two biggest draws in the sport.
Floyd Mayweather truly espouses what the sweet science is all about. And panned by Pacquiao, stuns out Fury.
This is the beginning of the end. Now it's all over. The fight is over.
And for the better part of the last 10 years, it was the one fight every sports fan wanted to see. Now, after years of eyeing each other from afar, on May 2nd, 2015, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, two of the best fighters the sport has ever seen, will finally step into the ring, ready to go toe-to-toe.
That drum beat you hear building in the background is fans' expectations of Manny Pacquiao going against Floyd Mayweather.
If you look at boxing history, when two guys can make the kind of money that these guys are going to make, the fights usually get made. So my question was, why did it take so long?
We've come close on occasion before, very close. Sometimes it was money, sometimes it was drug testing, sometimes their training schedules didn't work out.
You're talking about the two biggest athletes in their sport for years and years and years, and they weren't able to come to terms.
So ultimately, after all these years of this dragging on, it was up to the fighters to make this fight happen.
It seems as though the breakthrough moment was the two fighters spontaneously and serendipitously running into each other at a basketball game.
Serendipitous events make a big difference, bigger than the actual business part of it. And maybe that's what happened when Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao got together at that Miami Heat game.
Somehow, through the magic of the universe, you're right in front of each other and have a chance to look each other in the eye as human beings.
He finally was ready and he wanted to confront Manny in front of the whole world.
At halftime, I walked over to him and I said, let's meet later on. Let's talk. Let's try to make this fight happen for real.
And I saw it blowing up on social media. Pictures of that and accounts of that went everywhere.
You see how big this fight is and how many people are paying attention to this with the explosion in social media that caused and the frenzy.
And then something strange happened a little bit later. I got a text from Floyd saying, can you FaceTime me?
I wanted to FaceTime him when I was at the meeting with Manny.
He was sitting on a couch apparently in a hotel room, it looked like, sitting next to Manny Pacquiao.
I said, we're getting close. It was a really, really good thing for him to do that, in my opinion.
And Manny called me, and they said that they felt assured that Mayweather wanted to do the fight.
Floyd, he wanted to be able to explain to him, as two fighters and as businessmen, we need to come together and work out a deal, and let's get the fans what they want to see.
He had a wonderful career, and I had a wonderful career, but before we leave the sport, of course, we have to make this fight happen.
But even after the momentous meeting in Miami, there was still plenty of work needed to make this mega fight happen.
The president and chairman of CBS, Leslie Moonves, really deserves a lot of credit because he got in there and served as an arbiter, basically, between two sides that couldn't talk to each other.
There's a lot of moving parts to make this fight. You have the two fighters with different promoters, two fighters with different advisors and cadres around them, two fighters with different networks.
The only serious issue that had to be resolved was the cooperation between the two networks, HBO and Showtime.
If you could imagine Coke and Pepsi working together, or Burger King and McDonald's working together, it would have to take something really special, really historic, really stupendous to make two corporations come together for one event.
Then everyone had to make adjustments to their expectations and compromises.
Les and Richard Plepler, the chairman of HBO, solved all of the major problems in a 12-minute telephone conversation, and everything else was just details, but finally came to a resolution.
Whether it's Floyd, whether it's Showtime, whether it's HBO, whether it's Manny, Bob Arum, I think they all love the color green. And everybody's going to make a whole lot of green on this fight.
This time all the elements came together. It was just a little bit of luck, a lot of hard work, and people deciding that it was time for this fight to happen.
Eventually, after the most lengthy and difficult negotiation in the history of boxing, the fight that everyone had waited years to see was finally signed, sealed, and delivered.
It feels like a gift to boxing fans. It feels like an unexpected treasure to find under the Christmas tree, and everybody's happy that the fight will indeed take place.
Yes, I'm excited, and I'm in the best mood for this training camp because God gave me peace of mind.
I'm happy. I'm pretty sure he's happy. The world is happy. And, you know, this is the biggest fight in boxing history. So, you know, it's great to be in this position.
It's time. Two legends. One destiny. All roads end here. Mayweather-Pacquiao, May 2nd, live on pay-per-view. Mayweather-Pacquiao, Saturday, May 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view.
As two of boxing's best, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather are both used to imposing their will and dominating their opponents. But the two fighters do it with uniquely different styles, both in and out of the ring.
As a fan, you see the two of them matched up and you're reminded how different they are. Culturally, their personalities, their public personas, their styles in the ring.
There's so much to think about in terms of mapping out a storyline for how this fight's going to go. Is it going to be early rounds for Floyd with his defense? Is Manny going to push him?
And that's why this fight is the irresistible force against the immovable object. Floyd has figured out every fighter that has come in to face him. But here we have in Manny a fighter who is unlike anyone else in the sport.
Greatest offensive fighter of the era, tattooing pork margarita.
And who is more motivated
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 punches in the concession
than anyone else Floyd has ever faced. Floyd beats Manny if he does what he's done 47 times before, which is dissect the opponent and dominate the latter parts of the fight.
His defense is superb.
Look at the way he makes them miss. I mean, 3, 4 shots.
And the other big strength he has is his accuracy in punching.
Mayweather no times misfires.
He lands approximately 50% of his punches. That is astonishing.
That's just unbelievable hand speed there by Mayweather.
If he throws that right hand first, he usually does a lot of damage with it.
Chopping right hand. Another right hand by Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather wins this fight if he does what he does at his best, which is control the distance of the fight and remain in a defensive position that discourages his opponent.
He can do it in a variety of different ways. He does it with brilliant footwork.
And there he shows his foot speed.
He does it by countering effectively both to the head and the body.
String combination culminating with the right to the body.
He does it by reminding you every time you've made a mistake, usually with that flicking right-hand counterpunch.
Oh, right cross, clips, my God.
And he needs to establish and assert that feeling of mastery, that aura of psychological control.
He can see things in the ring even before they're happening. He can look at you and say, oh, I see what he's trying to do. He's trying to set me up for this trap. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you the shoulder roll and lean and counterpunch.
It's like the Matrix. Everything slows down for him.
I have to change the look defensively constantly. I have to give you this look. I have to give you this look.
They're actually switching to lefty. When was the last time we saw this?
That way he keeps the opponent thinking. He'll keep you confused. He'll keep you guessing while he himself gets his offense going. It all comes back to his intelligence, the intellectual part of his brain capacity in the ring. It's his biggest strength.
And now here comes Manny Pacquiao.
In order to beat Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao has to make his role as the attacker the most important role in the fight.
Here comes Pacquiao. Knock Marquez off balance.
He has unusual power.
By Pacquiao stuns Algieri. Now it's Cotto who's back is against the rope. And he fights his way off and goes down again.
He needs to be the Manny Pacquiao who fought Oscar.
Manny Pacquiao is annihilating Oscar De La Hoya.
And Hatton and Cotto.
Cotto's taking a ton of punishment.
A really aggressive, dynamic fighter.
And he's rearranging Marquez. the same again. Covered boxing for 24 years, and this is the best offensive fighter I've ever seen.
If Manny Pacquiao can crowd Mayweather, turn it into a street fight, really throw a lot of punches.
And if Manny's aggressive and takes the fight to him every minute of every round.
Here comes Pacquiao. That's a fighter. Unbelievable machine.
It's vital that he throw somewhere over 800 punches in this fight.
Pacquiao's beginning to land with almost every punch.
Manny Pacquiao wins this fight if his speed enables him to apply enough pressure to put Floyd Mayweather out of his comfort zone.
He can't run in this fight. If he can't run, that means he has to exchange more. If he exchanges with Manny Pacquiao, that's a mistake. You don't want to exchange with Manny Pacquiao, believe me.
Manny will throw 4 punches, then step out, then 5. Then step out, and then move, and then throw 3. He's got to keep coming in, throw a flurry, move out before Floyd can counter him.
Manny's greatest strength is the fact that he's such an unorthodox fighter. His activity level, the angles from what he punches with, just the rhythm of how he fights.
Who has a rare capability to go in and come out at angles.
Look at Pacquiao. Isn't he a beautiful machine? And he can punch combinations from so fluid from all angles.
And when he's throwing punches from angles and in positions where he shouldn't be able to get juice on those shots, they have mustard on him. That's the best Pacquiao.
He's one of the trickiest guys in boxing. Not all southpaws can really snap the right jab and throw a really hard right hook. Manny Pacquiao, God bless him, can do it.
There's a hard left by Pacquiao and a good right hook.
Another thing, he changes direction.
On the ropes.
And here comes
And he
Manny.
turns it around and bangs Margarito viciously.
He'll turn him this way. He'll turn him that way. He's great at it. He'll circle. He'll hit him with a right hook. Hit him with a right jab. If he can keep moving, keep circling, he can just make Floyd Mayweather crazy. He can outbox him. He can get off first. He can pile up points, and he can win the fight.
This is the fight that the fans have been salivating for years. And I'm just happy to be a part of history and give the fans exactly what they want to see.
You're seeing the craft performed at the highest level in the world. Mayweather and Pacquiao fighting to see whose era is it, who can impose their will literally on the other guy. The stakes couldn't be higher.
It's time. 2 legends. 1 destiny. All roads end here. Mayweather-Pacquiao, May 2nd, live on pay-per-view. Mayweather-Pacquiao, Saturday, May 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view.
Come on, here we go. Ready?
On March 11th, 2015, in a town that usually rolls out the red carpet for movie stars, boxing's 2 biggest celebrities came to Los Angeles for a press conference that quickly turned into a media extravaganza.
The press conference in Los Angeles was really a scene that I'd never quite seen before. You had a red carpet that was as long and as crowded as the Academy Awards. You had the Goodyear blimp that was circling.
It really hit me that we made the fight. When I saw it on that credential, I saw the words, Mayweather Pacquiao, May 2nd, MGM Grand. And then I saw the media, I'm like, wow.
I've been in boxing almost 50 years, and I've never seen anything like that.
There were over 700 media members. It was a great feeling to see all those media members. They were all there for Floyd and Manny.
Seeing the red carpet, seeing the massive amounts of media. You don't get that many media at most fights.
Manny, don't you feel that? Thanks, Manny.
And that includes, sports outlets, boxing outlets.
I know, I can't wait.
And a lot of outlets that typically don't cover the sport.
Sing happy birthday for me. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Manny. Pacquiao!
to remember Lewis Tyson, the last time Showtime and HBO were in the same room, and to see Floyd and Manny in the same room with all that attention, you realize this is not another big fight. It's a huge fight, bigger than anything we've had in a long time.
I'd like to introduce the pound for pound best fighter on this planet, none other than Floyd Money Mayweather.
But on a day filled with over-the-top hype, the man of many words was unusually quiet and reserved.
May 2nd, the fight of the century. It's all about the best, fighting the best. And Pacquiao is one of the best fighters of this era.
Part of Floyd's appeal is he zigs when you think he's going to zag. I was not surprised that there were no histrionics from Floyd.
When Floyd believes that a fight needs to be sold to maximize the pay-per-view return, he will sell the fight. When Floyd believes that the fight is big enough to sell itself, he will take a different tack.
May 2nd, that's when the world stops.
Everybody knows what's at stake. Everybody knows what this means. Why embellish it? Why try to dress it up?
They don't need to trash talk to promote this fight. I mean, people have wanted to see this fight for 5 years. They're desperate to see it.
And I want to thank Showtime and HBO for helping to make this fight happen, and also Mayweather Promotion and Team Pacquiao.
Please welcome the trainer of Manny Pacquiao, Freddie Roach.
Nothing moved Mayweather. Not even Freddie Roach's attempt to engage Floyd in some friendly trash talking.
We are in the toughest fight of our life. We're fighting the best fighter in the world. And we're going to kick his ass. I'm sorry, but good luck, Floyd. Somebody's going to have to say something here. You know, so I thought I would get a rise out of somebody, but I didn't.
On this day, even the standard press conference stare-down took on legendary status.
I've covered fights for 30 years, and I had goosebumps as I watched them approach each other on the stage.
I was looking at my watch, and it went on past a minute, and I was like, whoa. And neither person cracked a smile. They just looked dead into each other's eyes, and I was just sitting there wondering, like, what is going through their minds? I'm about to take your block off on May 2nd. You know they both had to be saying that.
I really had a flashback. It reminded me of Ali and Fraser and Leonard and Hearns and Leonard and Hagler. The same kind of tingle when I saw those great warriors face off.
Mayweather versus Pacquiao, May 2. Be there.
It's time. Two legends. One destiny. All roads end here. Mayweather-Pacquiao, May 2nd, live on pay-per-view. Mayweather-Pacquiao, Saturday, May 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view.
One of the interesting points about this fight is that there is no rematch clause. And that's strange for a fight of this caliber.
Neither fight camp raised the question of a rematch. It never came up.
There was no need to put a rematch clause in our contract because we're very, very confident.
Neither guy has really contemplated the possibility of losing. And as such, neither guy really feels like they need a rematch clause.
On May 2nd, 2015, at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, the fight everyone has been waiting for will finally take place. Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, the two most famous and accomplished fighters of this generation, are both eager and ready to meet history head-on. And each is determined to give the sport a signature moment fans will remember forever.
The fight has taken on almost a mythical quality because we've come so close so many times.
This is a historical event because these are the two best fighters of their generation. So the winner of this fight has some bragging rights.
Both fighters feel as though they have a great deal at stake in terms of their legacies.
In Mayweather's case, the idea of being undefeated when he retires is so important to him that this does have a dramatic impact on his legacy.
Manny Pacquiao won championships, conquered every challenge. So for him, this is as big as it gets.
This is a must-see fight, May the 2nd.
We've had 5-6 years of pent-up demand for this fight.
I use the test that a lot of people in boxing use. We talked to some of our friends who may not be boxing fans at all. They were all interested in this fight. As soon as it happened, are you going to be there? Can you get me a ticket?
Boxing needs this fight because of all the attention the fight will get. We talk about Manny Pacquiao, we talk about Floyd Mayweather, but essentially it's a boxing match with the emphasis on boxing. And that's great for the sport.
This is going to be enormous. This is a cultural phenomenon as much as a fight.
You have two fighters, one who's undoubtedly been the #1 pound-for-pound fighter of his generation. Manny Pacquiao, you have a very, very determined fighter, and he's the guy that the fans think can knock Floyd Mayweather off his throne.
The two best fighters in the world, two of the best fighters of all time. Their styles are perfect. One of the greatest pure boxers ever versus one of the greatest pure aggressive fighters ever. You know Pacquiao is going to attack. He's going to force the action.
Oh, right cross, clips, my God.
And it's hard to imagine Floyd letting Pacquiao take the play away from him. So I'm expecting not only a beautiful fight in terms of the artistry of both guys, it'll be accessible to the masses. Even if you're not among the boxing cognoscenti, you can see, it's easy to understand what you're watching. Wow, that's a great fight.
I think the fight will be good. I'm expecting it to be good. And more than that, it's just seeing the scene that will be a part of that. I think it's going to be an extraordinary evening.
I expect to hear the biggest roar from the crowd. I think the MGM will be exploding. It's that crescendo where the crowd has waited. For me, it's going to be like a volcanic eruption because the crowd has been waiting for years for this fight. And you're going to see those flash bulbs in the crowd, and you're going to see everybody on their feet just waiting for that opening bell. You're not going to be able to contain the excitement. The electricity from that crowd on May 2nd is going to be something special.
Manny Pacquiao is going to walk first. The place is going to erupt, and I don't think it's going to stop until after the fight ends.
When Floyd walks down that tunnel, he smiles out into the crowd, and the millions and millions of viewers who'll be watching, it will be an unbelievable moment.
I think it's going to be unlike any sporting event we have ever seen. The passion in that arena is going to be incredible.
And if the fight lives up to the expectation, you can blow the roof off the MGM Grand for sure.
To call yourself TBE, the best ever, you got to beat the best. Both of these guys realize if they want to go down in history as one of the greatest fighters to ever step into that square circle, you got to fight each other.
This is it. They've beaten everybody else. They've got a resume full of Hall of Fame fighters that they've defeated. It's just Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather now standing in each other's way to decide who is the best fighter of this era.
I think people should tune in May 2nd because you want to be part of history. You want to see the biggest fight ever. You want to be able to say, I witnessed whatever history is made. You want to be a part of it.
We talk about Manny Pacquiao, we talk about Floyd Mayweather. There's a saying that a high tide raises all ships. And that's the case here. This fight will be the biggest, certainly from a financial standpoint, the biggest fight in history, by far.
This is a genuine super fight that comes along once every, some would argue, 10 or 15 years. I'd argue almost half century.
I think it would be one of the biggest events of all time.
May 2nd is going to be astronomical. Fans across the globe, all over the world will be tuned in. The world will stop come May the 2nd. Tune in. Mayweather versus Pacquiao.
It's gonna be a historic fight and memorable fight. This is one in a lifetime.
You have two Hall of Famers meeting head to head in the best city in the world. You know, it's lights, camera, action. This fight doesn't need a title. It's Mayweather versus Pacquiao, May 2nd.
It's time. Two legends